Really nerdy, if they're into these sort of things, go, that is exactly something that, nobody else will have.
I suppose the challenge in marketability terms is finding that person and marrying them with your piece.
Oh yeah, I'll find out. I know loads of them.
How's it going?
Slowly, very slowly.
In terms of the production time?
You could actually, once you have the jig, you could mass produce it a lot faster. Also, there are see, if you're one person at Ford, it's going to be harder, but if you have a roller, you just roll it through and kind of work off that.
My difficult bit is going to be the measuring up for the holes and for the drilling, and then getting the angles right on the bars twisting through. So if I get the holes drilled wrong, then it's,
So the labour and the brute force are repetitive, but relatively easy. It's the specifics.
Yeah, it's the specifics,
Yeah.
With just 3 days to go, all 3 apprentices are now focusing on the details.
Oh, wow. That's amazing. That looks really good.
Yeah, I'm delighted with it. It's looking pretty interesting, and every time you do something and you go back to it and you play around with it, there's something new every time, and that's what I really like about this medium.
But Anne still has a long way to go, and she's under no illusion about the difficulties ahead.
I'm starting to realise the enormity of what's coming up for the next 2 days, and it will be cade meal of sausages for breakfast and about 5 bottles of Lucozade, and I'll be rocking.
The base for Suzanne's fire pit is in the fire, but it's been there too long and Michael dashes to the rescue.
Talk about your heart jumping into your mouth. Get us a hammer quickly. So I had to take over. It's not good.
Yeah, I think my stomach was just doing somersaults at that stage after days of hammering that piece.
If I forge it too heavy, I'm going to knock your oval out.
So Michael pretty much performed CPR on my piece.
Just move around to the next section now. 10 more seconds in the fire there. If that had happened, that would have been it.
So a close shave for Suzanne, but Edward's finally completed the long back sections of his fork-like chair.
Yeah, I'm very happy now that's forging down, all the marks are taken out, and it's nice and smooth again now, so it's good.
With all the pieces in place, Edward has just 2 days left to assemble the lot.
Ed's concentration really is going to be tested, and all of them are at that stage, the critical stage of a job. So I want to see them really concentrate, and the time they have left, they have to concentrate. So it's going to be a test for all of them.
And Anne's being tested as she struggles to get the octopus head to fit onto the coat rack frame.
Iron, and it just does, when it fits one place, it doesn't want to fit in the other place anymore. It was all little niggly, horrible stuff. It's those frustrating little things that actually slow it down, and they suck your time and your spirit away as well.
But Suzanne's doing well with the side bars of her oval fire pit.
It's heavier, harder work. I mean, the last thing, I need a lot more patience with this. It's just using your strength and a bit of skill, but it's coming along a hell of a lot faster.
And Edward takes a moment to see all of his pieces together.
Finally, at last. It's nice to have all the elements together looking similar anyway. I thought it was an ideal opportunity to have a little sit down and see if my measurements were correct. Oh, you know what? Still a bit warm. Really, it is just a case of now marking up and riveting. So I'm really looking forward to getting the whole thing together.
To be honest, they're all level pegging at the moment. Any one of them could not finish. Any one of them could not finish now. It will go to the wire for all 3 of them.
With just a day and a half left, Anne has finished her frame.
There. I have the frame made, welded together, and it is structurally sound. It will hold the weight of this enormous gargantuan piece of sculpture / coat hook rack thing. You too can have your own squidopus in a series of monthly instalments, $9.99 per month for the next 25 years. Every problem along the way was just another excuse to come up with a new solution, so it's faithful. I've done what I said on the tin, and I'm going to continue to do it hopefully tomorrow.
But today, Suzanne needs to finish the side bars of her fire pit.
I'm on the final one. Once that's done, onto the legs, everything very last minute.
She's only got the legs to do, and then it's a case of just putting it all together for her.
So there's going to be a hell of a lot of pressure tomorrow. I don't know, we need a miracle so it all works, but I'm sure it'll be fine. It'll be fine.
Edward's finishing today by putting a twist into the back bracket of his chair so that it meets up neatly with the legs. But it's not going to plan.
3 times I've twisted it the wrong way.
You're tired and it's the end of the day and you're rushing to get it finished or something, and you feck something up.
You know, this is the time when things can start going wrong, and I've just proved that by twisting the metal the wrong way around 3 times.
Yeah, there's a massive amount of pressure now, and you can see it in their faces. The concentration they've had to show already, and now you've got the added pressure of having to be finished tomorrow. But, yeah, it's a big pressure for them.
It's the final day. The apprentices must finish their pieces, and the pressure is intense.
It was absolutely full on today. I mean, there was 3 of us with the angle grinders there, with the wire brushes, attachments, and just, yeah, the dust, the noise, you know.
It was manic in the forge. Really was, really was. You could really feel it. You could feel it in the atmosphere.
But everyone, I think, was just in the zone.
When I was getting the legs welded onto the actual base, that was a bit nerve-wracking because they had to be straight. If they moved or anything went off, the whole angle of the piece would look a bit funny. You know, you can't have 3 straight legs and then 1 off to the side, so a little nerve-wracking.
And it all seemed to be fine. Then we put the head on, the top fitted, and the bottom didn't, so I had to turn around, you know, melt the legs a bit and try and bend it and tweak it back, and finish it off then by riveting the top of the head on and then having to rivet the eyes on, you know, which gives Squidopus his vision for the future.
Jeez, I don't know. I decided last minute it was too tall and the legs were too tall, so cut the top to shorten it and then cut the legs as well after everything was welded, so I just had to hope to God it would all come together in the end. Oh, this is stressful. So it was a risk, but I think it paid off. So.
I was behind where I wanted to be, so it was a mad, mad finishing process. But when the oil went on, the transformation was just exquisite. I'm very, very happy with the final piece. Yeah, really happy. I think it's more sculptural than I was expecting. It looks great, so yeah, I'm really, really happy with it.
I kept pretty much to my design. I kept my swirls. It's still a fire pit. It looks like it's going to work.
There's a great sense of achievement, but it's really tinged with sadness now because I have to leave here.
It means massive amounts to that, getting that finished.
I don't know, I gotta say it's one of the best days of my life.
It's been a fantastic experience, and I've loved almost every minute.
Cheers.
Cheers. Cheers.
Our 3 apprentices have finished their competition pieces, and our judges have had a chance to assess their work. So now it's Judgment Day at the High Lanes Gallery in Drogheda. It's time to judge the finished pieces, so let's meet the panel. Our resident judges are Derek McGarry from the National College of Art and Design and Brian McGee from the Crafts Council of Ireland. They're joined by Adrian Legg, who's been working in metal for over 30 years.
You've got a couple of burns in there. Were they deliberate or were they accidental and you just sort of serendipitous?
The first burn was an accident, and then the second one I did on purpose. And it was only after I'd done it, I kind of went, yeah, that's right, yeah, I really needed that other hole there. I would have done more, but...
Must have been a bit worrying at the time.
Yeah, everyone was like, oh, I don't know, but I was like, sure, come on. In for a penny, in for a pound.
Go for it. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Congratulations, it's a very dramatic piece, the scale is wonderful, but I think what makes it interesting to me is that you've used waste resources. Do you think that this is something that you might push forward?
I use a fair amount of recycled goods anyway, and I was just so lucky to actually find the cartwheels there in the scrapyard, so I think the two just lent themselves exactly.
Suzanne, it's a beautiful piece, and I suppose the challenge with functional ironmongery is that you're competing with cheap imports. Yeah. So how do you see it being sold?
A lot of it you could make to order, because what I'd like to do as well is say maybe have 4 of them, so like they come together, you can separate them around, so you know, instead of just sitting around the fire, you have something behind you as well to keep you warm. So it's that idea that you can adapt and change them depending on what the user wants.
The judges must decide who goes through to the final based on the criteria of design, craftsmanship and marketability.
I suppose we should look at them individually. I mean, starting with Anne, what are your thoughts on her piece?
I'm a little bit worried about the construction, particularly at the back of it. I think the making quality has got to be improved.
Really, her design is only limited, and her imagination is only limited at this point by her technical ability. But she is such an outgoing personality, I think that she could possibly sell snow to the Eskimos.
I think that this shows a great design sensitivity. And with a little bit of commercial mentoring, somebody like Suzanne could, go forward and produce something very impressive.
I think he really has something here. I love the larger than life. This is a great kind of introduction to larger scale work for him.
The apprentices have returned, but have the judges made their decision? Brian, over to you.
Sonia, thanks so much. Well, we have reached a decision. A majority is ruled, and the winner is Edward.
So Edward is through to the final, and next week he'll be up against the other finalists from glass, ceramics, wood and textiles. Their finished pieces will be judged by our resident experts Brian McGee and Derek McGarry. They're joined by top designers Louise Kennedy and Paul Costello as they compete for the title of Craftmaster.